So 1 or 2 days ago, Gregory Rodrigues and Brad Tavares was cancelled due to Brad Tavares having some sort of injury forcing him out of his fight at UFC 283, and the UFC did not waste any time getting him in another opponent. Unfortunately, Tapology has been wasting time because this fight was announced this morning and it still hasn't been put on. So, don't know what Tapology is up to, but Gregory Rodrigues has now got a new opponent, and his name is Brunno Fereira. He is 9-0. He fought on Dana White's Contender Series earlier this year against Leon Aliu. He knocked him out in 95 seconds, continuing his absolute rampage of finishing opponents in the first or the second round. This guy's never been to the third round in his entire career. He's got 6 wins by KO, 3 wins by submission, and they're all in the first or the second round. He's never been to decision. He's never been into the third round. He knocked out Leon Aliu in a pretty good fight. I mean, it didn't last that long, and he got the KO, but I was considering a Leon Aliu pick in this one, to be fair, for a while, but I ended up siding with Fereira, as did most. And he got the knockout very quickly, and he's very impressive. But the thing is, I feel like Gregory Rodrigues on the feet, I think he's just going to be a little bit too technical for him. If Brunno Fereira is going to win the fight, he's going to win the fight by knockout, potentially submission. I don't think he's going to submit Gregory Rodrigues, though, in the first round. I think he's going to have to knock out Gregory Rodrigues. If the fight goes to the second or third round, especially on short notice, I do like Gregory Rodrigues' ability to take over and maybe find a finish, maybe find a TKO or a knockout in the second or the third round. Almost similar to what happened against Chitty when he beat Chitty with ground and pound in the second round. Like, I think the damage just added up against Chitty, or I don't even know. It was a weird sort of finishing sequence, really. But believe it or not, boys, I was actually going to pick Brad Tavares to beat Gregory Rodrigues. I just thought that Brad Tavares just had too much experience at a higher level. But I like Gregory Rodrigues to beat Brunno Fereira. I think he's going to find a finish in the second or the third round. I think the first round's going to be fun. I think Rodrigues is going to get hit with some big shots. I think Brunno Fereira is going to get hit with some big shots. Maybe the fight tries to go to the ground. Rodrigues does have a pretty underrated grappling and ground game. Fereira does have a submission ability as shown in his finishes. But I do like Gregory Rodrigues in the matchup. The one little red flag sort of thing that I do have about this matchup is that Gregory Rodrigues, man, why is that such a hard name for me to say? I don't know if it's my accent or if it's just me being a little bit special, but he got beaten up by Chidi Njokwani and opened up that cut in September, and that was only about 4 months ago, and that was a bad cut. That was a big cut, and that is a cut that potentially could open up again throughout his career if he doesn't let it heal properly, which is why I did find it somewhat interesting that this fight was so quickly turned around. I thought maybe Rodrigues would want to really let that cut heal. From my experience, dude, I've got scars all over my body from various things, but I've got one underneath here. This is like a 2-year-old scar, and to be fair, it wasn't stitched, it was stapled. But this is a scar that I've had for 2 years now, literally, and it hasn't healed over. It's there forever until I get a surgery to remove the scar. But that's another story. It was literally 3 months ago. He got that massive cut on his eyebrow, and he would have had to let that heal. And I would assume that it has fully healed since. But I think it's still like that cut was so big. That's a long time. That needs a long healing process to fully heal, that he can trust that it won't reopen again. I think he's going to have quite a bit of scar tissue in between his eyes, and I don't know if it's going to be a problem in this fight, but I do think one day someone's going to land a massive shot on Gregory Rodrigues. Someone's going to land that perfect elbow, and they're going to get Gregory Rodrigues in between his eyes, and I do worry about that day. I don't think it's going to happen in this one, but if Brunno Fereira does win, I believe Gregory Rodrigues is ranked like number 22 in the UFC right now. What's his ranking worldwide according to Tapology? He's number 15 according to Tapology. But I believe on the UFC's rankings, like the unofficial UFC ranking, he's ranked like number 22. So if Brunno Fereira beats Gregory Rodrigues, he's going to be in the top 25. Maybe even looking at one more fight in the top 15, like super early on into his UFC career would be a big win. But I'm picking Gregory Rodrigues. I think he's more technical on the feet. I believe he's going to have a reach advantage. He's 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. Brunno Fereira is 5'10", so yeah, he's probably not going to have the same reach as Gregory Rodrigues. I like Gregory Rodrigues here. I think he's going to be longer. He's going to have the reach advantage as well, as what I'm assuming, and I do think he's going to be able to pick apart Brunno Fereira from distance. Brunno's going to be running forward, trying to knock him out. He if he was smart, he really would be targeting this sort of area. Maybe even gets a takedown and tries to do some ground and pound with some elbows or something. Like, that's how I think fighters in the future would approach the Gregory Rodrigues fight. Kind of like when Jack Jenkins fought Freddie Emiliano Linares. It turned out that Jack Jenkins was made aware that Freddie Emiliano Linares in the past had a massive cut over his eye, sort of area, from the previous fight, and that he was going to try and reopen it again in his fight, and that was the game plan. It was very successful. He opened up the cut in the first round, and Freddie Emiliano Linares bled for the whole 3 rounds. It was a mess, but Jack Jenkins ended up winning that fight. So, I don't know. I think in the future, maybe a good grappler, maybe someone like Caio Borralho could take down Gregory Rodrigues, end up on top in a safe spot, and start landing some elbows, start landing some ground and pounds and opening up that cut again. It is a concern in the future, it really is. Maybe I'm overstating that a little bit too much, but you do see cuts reopen again. Like, you see Nate Diaz open up all the time because he's got so much scar tissue. That cut over Max Holloway's eyebrow even, in the Volkanovski fight was, I believe, the cut that was opened by Dustin Poirier in one of their fights. But yeah, I'm going Gregory Rodrigues. I think there was a long video. There's 6 minutes long for one fight, but let me know what you think. This probably will be the only video I do today. I went back to work today, back on the grind. Yeah, man, and then I move out of home, because I live at my dad's house at the moment, and I'm gonna be moving into a flat up the country a bit. If you don't know, I live in New Zealand, so I'm gonna be moving up the country a little bit, and yeah, should be pretty good. Going to university, so that would be sick. So yeah, look forward to that too, I guess. I mean, it's not really gonna affect the channel too much. There probably will be a period of about a week where I'm not really making videos, but it should be good times and tan lines. So I'll catch you in the next one.